Covering you from your LB1 to your taxi squad, this is IDP Nation.
Manning back, pumps, he fires to the far side, it's intercepted, and running into a touchdown.
Your home for the best in IDP and draft coverage.
Daniel has time in the pocket, steps up, and he's going to be hit from the side, and he's going down. That's a sack.
You there?
I'm there. You?
I didn't hear the intro play, but whatever.
Oh yeah, it's over.
Huh. Well, good. So anyway, welcome back to IDP Nation. We're live. Anyway, I'm Hollywood Titan. He's Sean. What's going on, man?
Oh, Friday. Enjoying payday. Got fish bowls kicking off, so that means redraft season is right around the corner. Yes,
it is. A lot of rookie drafts going on. You said you were in like 4 or 5, I think. About to pick up business, about to pick up for fantasy football for sure. We're closing in after the 4th. That's when it gets busy. So we're going to talk safeties tonight, like tiers and rankings. I know I sent you my list for this season. We'll get into that in a minute. If you need something for your champion of your league, no matter what sport it is, even if it's something for work, go check out Trophy Smack. They are absolutely the best in the business. I know Sean got his package today, and yeah, look at that. Beautiful. That thing is awesome. Their black rings are just pictures, and
yeah, this camera didn't do justice either. This thing's actually really nice.
Yeah, they don't do them any justice. When you get one of those in person, it pops. It's awesome.
And if rings aren't your thing, good job, belt.
Oh, look at this bragger. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at this bragger.
I think it's heavy too, guys. It feels like an actual championship belt, not like a toy from Walmart. It's really nice. It really is. I can't speak enough of how good a quality that is.
Yeah, all their stuff is great quality. Their rings, their belts, their trophies, their plaques. They got stuff for winners. They got stuff for losers. I mean, fully customizable. You can do anything. They got wall plates. So go check them out over there at Trophy Smack. They are by far the best in the business, and you will not be disappointed with their products. So go check them out. We got a link in our bio. You can get a discount, so go check them out there. And we thank them for being a sponsor of IDP Nation. Sean, we got a little bit of news. I know a lot of it's repetitive at times during this time of the year. It is what it is, right? Players do it, injuries and whatever. Holding out or whatever, and we'll get into that a little bit. But if my page will load here, of course it's not going to cooperate. But I'll start from the back. So Trey Hendrickson, TJ Watt, Micah Parsons are all still kind of in limbo, right? Hendrickson's saying he's not going to play if he doesn't get a contract. He's not trying to break the bank, but we've kind of seen the MO in Cincinnati, right, for years. That's not their method of operation, right? From Carson Palmer to Rudy Johnson to Ocho Cinco, I mean, you name it, right on down the line. They have an MO where they kind of don't pay players, right? Which is weird to me in the fact that you've got arguably the best pass rusher in the NFL the past 2 years. 17 and a half sacks each year. So 35 sacks in 34 games. That's insane production for a pass rusher. Um, I think it's kind of the whole Jesse Bates. That's another one, right? I think that's the kind of the whole thing here is, they're not going to budge. So I think eventually Trey Hendrickson's going. I don't know if it'll be this season. I don't know if he plays this season. I mean, we still got some time, but that's kind of for now. That's kind of where we're at for that. And then you've got T.J. Watt, right? He's wanting the big deal with Pittsburgh, and there's rumors flying around that he's going to get traded. And I heard one the other day on Fox Sports with LeVar Arrington and Brady Quinn, and they're like, if Washington gives up, because the conversation was Washington and Terry McLaurin, and that was an interesting insight. And then you got Micah Parsons, who wants to get paid. And this one seems, of the three, the least worryable, right? Like, it seems like everything is going to get done. And according to Jerry, he's like, and some reports, he's like, this is just a done deal. It's just kind of depending on the years. So it sounds like they're going to get something done for Parsons. But here we are on July 11th. How worried are you about Hendrickson? Because he's pretty much said either give me a new deal or trade me or I ain't playing.
Yeah,
and then,
he
and
seems
then
very
TJ Watt's
content.
kind of just said I want more money, but
Hendrickson's been pretty content to sit out. Like he's standing pretty hard on his ground. To your point, we did see the Bengals finally pay up for a couple of receivers this offseason, which I didn't think they would do. I thought Chase would stay and Higgins would be out the door. So I was surprised that they pulled that off. But without Hendrickson, that's really their only viable pass rusher on that team. You got a couple of fourth-year guys, third-year guys out there. Young guys, rookies. Even the rookies are having a hard time getting their deals done. So a lot of contract shenanigans going on up there in Cincinnati. It's not a good look for the team, actually. But I am worried about Hendrickson. And in fact, I've been avoiding him at all costs in every draft so far. T.J. Watt's been a little more recent, and it's starting to pick up some steam. So it's another one you got to be cautious on. I think I still feel a little more comfortable taking T.J. Watt. I know he's frustrated, but I feel like Steelers are, as an organization, more willing to get something done than Cincinnati. And as far as Mike Parsons goes, he seems like he's going to play no matter what. He's saying the right things, doing the right things. But, again, nothing's on paper just yet.
Right. And I don't really know if you've, like in redraft or best ball, it's kind of easy, right? You're kind of like, well, if they don't sign or whatever, if they hold out, you can kind of get away from them easier. But in like Dynasty, if you've already got them on your roster, you're kind of screwed, right?
If you trade them now, you're not getting their value in return.
But right, because you're going to get straight lowballed if somebody comes at you and says, hey, what do you want for Watt? Or hey, I need a pass rusher. And you say, well, I got Watt or I got Hendrickson. They're going to straight lowball you right now.
Yeah, but if you get that trade, then because they're scared off, then that's great too. But it's a gamble.
Yeah, I think if you have them, you have to hold.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you're just not going to get the true value for them. So we got a couple of months. So I know when me and Dan would always talk about like Jesse Bates, because that went on for 2-3 years, right? Because of the franchise tags and so on. I don't know. I think Hendrickson winds up playing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he holds to his guns. My worry is, Le'Veon Bell tried this and said, I ain't playing. Trade me or pay me or I ain't playing. And neither one of them happened. And he set out for a year and it was never right after that. Right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of my worry.
From a team perspective, Watt's the old guy. So you really don't want to give him too many years. And I think that's their biggest problem is trying to figure out the years on him. You don't want to invest too much, give, that much money for a guy who's statistically going to start to decline. So
yeah, but
you don't want to lose him either.
Right, but I feel like these teams need to settle deals now. Like Cincinnati needs to decide on Hendrickson. Pittsburgh needs to decide on Watt. Dallas needs to decide on Parsons because it's like they're almost waiting for a domino to fall before they decide. But in my opinion, it's better to just go ahead and get it out of the way now, bite the bullet, pay them what they want because for every Parsons, every Watt, every Hendrickson, Nick Bosa, for every superstar elite player at your position that gets paid a big contract, if you don't have your guy locked up, that price tag just keeps going up. So if I'm a team, I'm like, hey, we need to get this done now.
Yeah.
We talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they made a trade here recently. So they traded away safety Minka Fitzpatrick and a 2027 fifth to the Miami Dolphins in exchange for Jalen Ramsey, cornerback, tight end Jonnu Smith, and a 2027 seventh. The draft picks are out a little bit, but so Minka Fitzpatrick goes back home, right? That's who he was drafted, is by the Miami. And I'm sure we'll get into this in the rankings. It's basically Fitzpatrick for Ramsey straight up, right? With a little bit of filler. I mean, Jonnu Smith is a little bit, but
yeah.
Thoughts?
It's weird. It's weird because
I know, right?
It's not like Minka left on good terms. Like it was down in the Dolphins pretty hard when he left. Walton, contract and money then, and it's I guess it's never too late to go back. It was just weird. I don't understand what the Steelers are wanting to do at safety now. Deshaun Elliott's half of that, and he's solid enough. But now you got Jalen Ramsey, Joey Porter, and who's the other corner? I think it's another old guy. Look this up real quick. I forgot. Darius Slay was the other guy. So now you got three upper tier corners. Slay can still go. Joey Porter is no slouch. Porter Jr. Ramsey, he's hit and miss, but I mean he's still got some star power to him. I really don't know what they want to do at safety now. Now they have a hole there.
Yeah,
do you feel good about Juan Thornhill or Miles Killebrew? No, you don't. You don't.
No, but I do like a player they have back there in the secondary, and we'll get into that in a little bit. And then also on our last piece of news and notes, the Denver Broncos safety PJ Locke, and I did not know this till the other day, but PJ Locke underwent spinal fusion surgery after the team's playoff loss in January. He was a huge piece for them and their defense. And I had heard nothing after this. From what I read, he is one of the very first players in the NFL to ever go through a spinal fusion surgery. So that's kind of alarming, right? I mean, that's
doesn't sound good at all.
No, it does not sound good at all. So I know they brought in some players, so who
I hadn't heard anything either. That's probably why they did bring in Hufanga as well, which
Right.
Locke wasn't terrible, but they needed the upgrade.
Right. So we're talking about safeties tonight. I sent you my tier and rankings list. You can also catch them over on our Patreon. They're free. All you got to do is become a member. It doesn't cost anything to become a member of our Patreon. There's stuff over there for free. So, and the rankings are there. Sign up for it. It's a good thing. We'll add you to the Discord. All of that.
And
So
don't freak out. There's a couple names off this list that we're going to talk about where to add them back on to these rankings.
It's possible I did miss. It's possible.
That's all right. I didn't say anything before because I thought it'd be good to where we can kind of just talk about should this player be here, down a tier, wherever. So.
Right, and these rankings are for the 2025 season, right? So it's not dynasty. This is just kind of how I see them playing out for the season. So tier 1, I had 4 players in tier 1. So at number 1, I had Buda Baker, free safety for the Cardinals. Number 2, I had Nick Cross, strong safety for the Colts. Number 3, Kevin Byard, strong safety for the Bears. Number 4, strong safety Derwin James for the Chargers. Just for 1 year, those 4, man, they were 4 of the best safeties a year ago, right? Buda Baker led all safeties and tackles. He was among the league leaders overall in tackles. He had a really high solo count as well. Just kind of hard, in my opinion, for 1 year to knock him off. Nick Cross burst onto the scene last year, right? I know they had EJ Speed and they had
Franklin.
What's his name? Franklin. Yes, thank you. And they get all the attention at linebacker, right? But Nick Cross really, really burst out last year, and I think you're going to see more of that this year because I just don't think overall they've gotten a lot better defensively. And I know they've made some improvements, but I can see him replicating last year's thing. And then Kevin Byard, he's bounced, he was at Tennessee, had a great career, went to Philadelphia, didn't quite work out, but went to Chicago and kind of rebounded, right? And I think his fit in Chicago kind of mirrors his career in Tennessee, right? Because he kind of changed positions in Tennessee for a little bit. He was a 100-tackle guy, interceptions, and then they kind of moved him around where he couldn't come in the box. They kept him deep center. So I think when you can let him just be him, strong safety, come down in the box, play deep, whatever, play nickel, I think that's where he excels, and they've really not made any improvements that I've seen at that position that's going to affect him this year. So I think he's going to be right back there again. And then Derwin James, he doesn't quite have the tackle totals of these 3 overall, but it's how the Chargers use him, right? Because they're bringing him down in the box. They're blitzing him. 5.5 sacks, I think it was. Forced fumbles, gets a few interceptions. So that value for him bumps him up. So that was my top 4, my tier 1 for this season. Thoughts? Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, Buda Baker had a great year last year. I think it's almost for certain his tackle numbers are going to come down. But I still think he's the top guy right now.
Why do you think his numbers are coming down?
Because they were so high last year. It was such a peak kind of number.
Is it a player though? Because he's had Jalen Thompson as his Robin basically their whole careers, and both of them, and we'll get to Thompson in a few minutes, but both of them have produced. So
yeah, but 164 tackles for a safety is like an outlier year. Like it's such a ceiling I mean, he's more around 110, 120 kind of tackles. That would still have him towards the top of this list. But what I'm saying is, I don't see him hitting another 164 tackles this year. But at the same time, I still think he's going to be the top safety again, or at least up there. But to hit another 164 tackles, that would be something we've probably never seen. Um, but I agree, he's up there in the top. James, he's still Derwin James. He's still doing the tackles, the big play uh, scoring, the big plays, the splash plays, sacks, fumbles. Not really much on interceptions, but the rest kind of makes up for it. Tackles for a loss. Byard is overlooked every year, and he can
Yes.
do it. Interceptions, and tackles. He might see a little regression as well if a guy like Jaquan Brisker can stay healthy and steal some of these tackles, but that's remains to be seen. And if we expect that offense to roll with Ben Johnson over it, just less need for him to take some of those big chances, I guess. But Nick Cross is the one I'm least confident in. Again, his tackle numbers were pretty high for a safety as well. I know the defense isn't that much better. They did bring in Cam Bynum. We don't know what Jalen Carley's is going to look like just yet. The thought is maybe Daniel Jones runs this offense better and keeps the defense off the field more, decreasing those chances. It's still not going to be a pretty offense or a good team. I just don't know that I trust Nick Cross to get another 145 tackles or whatever he had.
But if he drops off, let's say, to 120, that's still going to keep him pretty much right at the top among safeties.
So at the start of the season, it was Julian Blackman that was playing up near the box, and Cross was playing deep. And that switched because Blackman actually got injured. And to help mask that, they had him playing deep. And then when Cross came up, he started racking up all the tackles because they were just on the field so much with Anthony Richardson at the helm. It was a lot of 3-and-outs. So I really don't know what their plan is, if Cross is going to stay up near the line or if they're going to do more of a 50-50 split with him and Bynum, where it's more of a left and right safety instead of a box and deep safety. Just thoughts and variables I have there that have me a little more scared off of Cross than I do these other guys. These other guys are solid, and I expect good solid seasons from them. Cross was his first blow up, his first time over 40 tackles. So is he that guy? Was it just circumstances of just a bad season? I'm a little off of him.
Understandable. I think Baker, Byard, and James are kind of still locks for 1 year. If you're locked in for 2025, they're still, nothing's really changed for either one of them, right? So I know you talked about Baker's numbers coming down, but even if they come down to 130, that's still going to put him,
Yeah, I still expect him to be the top dog, but don't expect another 164 tackles by a safety. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he could still lead the entire thing. Sacks, not a whole lot of interceptions in him either. Same with Derwin, but
right. I mean, he had 147 tackles back in 2019, so I mean, it's not impossible for him to do that again. But yeah, I guess we'll look at tier 2 here. Kind of a weird bunch for me when I was ranking these. So I got Tyler Nubin at 5, and I have to be honest, it took everything I had to not put him in tier 1. Everything that we saw from him last year was just basically straight gold, right? All the way up to the point where he got injured. And I think that's the thing. If he hadn't got injured, I think he finishes as a top tier safety. how does he bounce back? You know, they got rid of Xavier McKinney. They drafted him, brought him in, and man, he took off with that role running. Right? I mean, he didn't even slow down. So I think year two, as long as he's healthy, I think he's going to be the guy in New York. Make their offense better, but I think you're going to see a little bit more of the same from the Giants. And I think for Newbin, he's a key piece, right? He plays down in the box. He can drop. He can do a little bit of everything for them. So I think that's going to continue. At number 6, I had Brian Branch, who I absolutely loved. I loved him coming out of college. He just does a little bit of everything for Detroit, right? I mean, he can cover. He can defend in the secondary. He can play down in the box. He can play the nickel. He can basically play any spot in the secondary for you and be effective. So I like him. Jesse Bates I had at 7. I feel like he gets doubted a lot too. But all he does is just make tackles, makes plays, right? He did it at Cincinnati. They changed him around a little bit and he dropped down. The whole contract thing, I'm sure, had a little bit of issue with it. And then he goes to Atlanta and boom, it's like I'm back, right? And for fantasy people, you got to love him in Atlanta because Atlanta's a little rough right now, right? The whole Kirk Cousins things didn't work, and they went to the new guy,
Penix.
on his name, Penix. So they're still working that out. They've got Bijan, they've got some receivers, but man, that whole defense is a little wonky, right? I know they brought in a lot of youngsters this year, but until they can get that figured out, especially up front with their pass rushers, and they lost Grady Jarrett. He's gone. So even with the young pass rushers, I think there's going to be a learning curve there because that's been their weakness is at pass rusher. Their linebackers are a little wishy-washy. They don't have Nate Landman no more. So I think Jesse Bates is going to continue to put up another big season this year. And then at number 8, I had Julian Love for Seattle. A perfect Seahawk, right? I mean, he just fits the mold of what they want to do and how they want to play. And then at number 9, I have Kyle Hamilton, strong safety for the Ravens. Love him. I wanted to put him higher. I really did. But I didn't want to put – because Baltimore's so good. You know, they got pass rushers. They got interior guys. They got linebackers. They got corners. So I kind of felt like that ate into his value just a little bit because he's not the Jesse Bates where you really have to depend on him. He's not the Tyler Nubin that you really have to depend on him. So I think because he's surrounded by more talent, I felt like that hurt his value a little bit. And we'll get into somebody else on his team here in a little bit. But Kyle Hamilton, I think, is just an elite safety, plug and play, you know, just run with it.
So, Tyler Nubin, I really like. He's in a great spot there in New York.
Ain't he, though? I mean, seriously, is he not in the best spot ever?
The linebackers in front of him weren't great last year. Bobby Karake was dealing with a back injury, if I'm not mistaken. That worries me in itself. So with him being out, not playing up to standards last year, bringing in guys like Michael McFadden or
Darius Marisol.
Yeah, Marisol. Yeah, just whoever they could get, basically. It left a lot of tackle opportunities up for grabs. And with him playing that close to the line and everything, he just sat there and ate. I expect the Giants to be terrible again and for him to have every bit the chance to duplicate and exceed what he did last year. So I'm with you there. Brian Branch is a stud. I really thought you'd have him right below Baker, but yeah, great season. I mean, he's tackling, he's getting the interceptions, he's getting some sacks. He really is all over the place.
I wanted to put him that high, like Nubin, Branch, Newman
I
and
get
Branch,
it.
I
Yeah.
could have easily put into that tier 1.
Mhm.
I think for Branch, and it's his teammate that kind of gave me some pause, and we'll get to that in a minute. But
Sure,
yeah,
but
I think
again,
Newman and Branch is easily tier 1 options. I just had a little bit of pause with them.
yeah, and again, they also play behind not the greatest linebacking core. You'll see that kind of theme in most of these safeties. It's the guys playing behind the linebackers that aren't doing so well, so they get more attack opportunities. A lot of these guys are
Right.
box safeties, slot, whatever, can be up there near the ball. So closer to the yard, the more plays you can make. Man, I love Brian Branch, and I, I'm thinking he can pretty much duplicate his season
I
from
think so
last
too.
year. Jesse Bates, I think the biggest problem with him in Cincinnati was just the defense that they ran, so he wasn't allowed to fully be turned loose. And he is in Atlanta. He's doing everything. Again,
Right.
outside of Caden Ellis, linebackers a question. Pass rushers have been suspect for years. Grady Jarrett's gone, so now you're losing even more pressure up the middle. So this guy is gonna pretty much has to go off again, just for the sake of the team, for them to make that leap to the playoffs. Bates is going to be a big key to that defense. Julian Love, dude, he's been nothing but one of the top safeties statistically when tackles and stuff. Over the last 3 years, the only guys to be in the top 12 every year are him and Derwin James. So that pretty much tells you all you need to know. And he finished higher than Derwin James all 3 years. So which one of those gets drafted each year higher? It's always Derwin James. Julian Love, completely
Right.
overlooked year after year, does nothing but put up stats. Again, in Seattle, they're wanting to run more single linebacker, so 3 safety sets. So, and again, he's in a perfect situation.
Right.
And Kyle Hamilton, similar to Brian Branch, these guys are just all over the place. But
I
yeah,
mean, Julian Love really of the top 9 that I've ranked, he gets the least love, right? I mean, he's kind of
really does.
he
Really
does,
does.
and he just keeps on freaking keeping on, right? And I think he's in a perfect situation in Seattle that's going to allow him to keep on doing what he's been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. With him only, sure, they have more linebackers than just Ernest Jones. I know Tariq Knight is there, but their idea setup, I guess, would be 3 safeties. And we'll bring up a
Yeah.
certain rookie here in a little bit about it. But yeah, it's Julian Love's 120 tackles the last few years. I mean, that's 124, 123, 109.
Right. Just
Solid, consistent
Yes.
numbers. He's getting a few interceptions, 2, 4, and 3 the last 3 years. Sacks, not really. Don't need them. He's getting tackles and interceptions. So.
Right.
But yeah, that's it's a pretty good list. I like just about every player in here. In fact, I really don't have anything negative to say about any of them. Good job, Hollywood.
Good.
You nailed it.
Good. Well, I'm up here. We're going to get on down here. So tier 3, we've ranked 9 players in 2 tiers. So tier 3, I had Jeremy Chin at number 10, free safety for Washington. In Carolina, he had the big year or 2, kind of fell off one year. It was just an up and down thing, but it was kind of how they used him too, right? It was like the talent around him, how they deployed him, which I always felt like he's not getting a fair rep, but you can't argue from a fantasy standpoint, right? Because this is what the show is. Fantasy football, not real football.
Sure.
From a fantasy point, you're kind of like, well, he's not getting used like he was before, and
Right.
blah, blah, blah. So I know a lot of fantasy managers were like, screw him. He had a down year. I'm done with him. And then he kind of bounced back, and then he was up and down. Then he lands in Washington, right? Under Dan Quinn. He's got Bobby Wagner in front of him. He's got that huge defensive line in front of him, or had. We'll get to that in a future episode. But I just felt like Washington was the perfect fit, right? Like, they've always been known for that defensive front, those front four, the Paynes, the Allens, the Sweats, whoever. And then they've always kind of had that one linebacker, and they've always had that one safety. And I think that one linebacker, that one safety are home runs. And they're really home runs now because you got arguably one of the best linebackers to ever play the game in Bobby Wagner. But you've got Jeremy Chin lining up behind him in the secondary. And I think the key is he plays free safety, right? So they can move him around. They can put him in the nickel. They can play him in deep center field. They can bring him down in the box. And with no real competition around him or Wagner, I think they kind of complement each other, right? Because that defensive line just eats, and it funnels everything to those two. So for me, I really like the new landing spot for Jeremy Chin. I think he's going to continue to grow. Number 11 is Grant Delpit, strong safety for the Browns. It's kind of weird, right? I mean, you've got one of the best pass rushers in the league. You had one of the up-and-coming linebackers, I felt like, in JOK, and that freaking neck injury, that just fucking killed him, right? I mean, that was fucking brutal. So with him out of the way, and you got a youngster at linebacker there, and Swessinger, who I love, I just feel like Delpit's really going to freaking eat this year. Number 12, you got Xavier Woods, free safety. I really kind of like this because I almost feel like, in a way, he's taken over the Byard role. I know they got a Monty Hooker who we'll talk about. But early on, it was Byard, strong safety, Hooker, free safety. And then it kind of changed, right? Hooker kind of become more the strong. Byard was kind of more of the free, and then he moved on. So for Woods, I really like this because they need him. They need him and Hooker to be studs. Then you got Brandon Jones in Denver. His first year in Denver was pretty good, right? He come over from Miami. Now they got Hufanga. How does that affect him? I don't know. I like Hufanga. I think he's going to be an impact player, but injuries are a concern. So I'm not getting too crazy on the Jones drop. I think it hurts him a little bit, but I think overall Jones is the safety you want. 14, Trayvon Morig, strong safety for the Raiders. Man, what a breakout season for him last year, right? He was like a freaking missile. He hit everything that moved. And then 15, I have Jalen Thompson, who we talked about, strong safety. I think he's the Robin to Buda Baker, right? And they've been that way for 6, 7, 8 years now, and nothing's changed. I know stuff's changed in front of them, but for those two, nothing has changed. So let me have it. I know this is the tier where you tell me I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, this tier is a lot of really good players, but nobody great.
Right.
Chin
I will
has
say
been
this. I think from tier 1 and 2, which is the top 9,
yeah.
I think there was a big drop.
Yeah, Chin, we've seen him get the tackles and some sacks and whatnot, but inconsistency, changing his role, changing the defensive coordinators and stuff like that, that really hampered him for a couple of years. Washington kind of unlocked him back, and now he's going to Vegas, where we've seen like Trayvon Merrick was just left there, and he had a really good season. And that was behind Robert Spillane and Divine Diablo, and now it's looking like Jermaine Pratt Devin White, Landon Roberts. So downgrade the linebackers, and I think Chin's going to eat. I think he's set up in a really good spot to get plenty of tackles this year. So I do like the pick. He just doesn't give us enough interceptions and it's just like a lot of sacks. He doesn't give us the big splash plays that we like that can really boost him up into that next tier. But solid guy. Grant Delpit's very similar. Solid tackler. Again, he's playing behind a bit of a suspect linebacking core, even with Schlesinger being in there. Jordan Hicks is still there. He's old. He's going to get hurt. All the other guys that came in last year were just anybody. But again, he offers tackles and not enough of the big plays. So these guys, like I say, are solid. They just don't do enough of the splash stuff to really shoot them up into the higher tiers. But these are guys you pretty much set them in your lineup and really not have to worry about them. They're going to give you solid production just about every week. The Woods and Hooker tandem, I think Woods is going to play deep and allow Hooker to bounce around and to be better, assuming he can stay healthy. Should help unlock him. But Tennessee's defense is going to be on the field a lot. Yeah, I think we agree that. And the linebackers in front of Woods and Hooker are so far Cody Barton and damn near anybody else.
Right. And I would have kind of had Hooker a little higher, and I'll touch on him here a little bit later. But
it's injury.
I think with Woods there now, I think Hooker had 5 interceptions a year ago. And as a fantasy player, if you're chasing that, I think you're going to be disappointed. Because to your point, I think he's going to be, with Woods, he's going to be playing down in the box more because of the lack of the linebacker depth quality.
Yeah.
Tackles may go up, but those big splash plays, as far as interceptions, I think that falls. So that's kind of why I like Woods over Hooker. And I do like Hooker. I've got him on the list on down here, but sorry, I had to explain that a little bit.
Right. Thompson's a solid guy. Mary goes over to Carolina, where it's a good spot. Pretty much where Woods came from. There's going to be plenty of tackle opportunities there. Soshi gets hurt. He's going to miss some time.
Easy. How dare you talk about a Hawkeye that way?
If you hadn't figured it out by now, after 20 years of him being in the league, you'll never learn. Brandon Jones is the one that worries me the most here. Just because I've seen how shaky he was in Miami for years. Inconsistent. He had a fantastic statistical year last year for Denver.
Right, but are you so worried about Hufanga?
No, it's actually not Hufanga I'm worried about. It's actually the rookie Barron. I think
where he plays more slot corner type deal or outside, I think.
So last I seen, he was playing. They were practicing him outside, inside, safety, and a little bit of linebacker. Like they were kind of moving him around in some crazy spots. So I think with him, with Dre Greenlaw coming in, Alex Singleton coming back, I think he's going to lose a lot of tackle opportunities. So not just Barron, but Greenlaw coming in. I think that's going to eat into him. Again, he has some inconsistent play, but if Locke is coming in injured, Hufanga has been known to get hurt himself. I'm pretty sure he's going to have to play. So it's not like they're just going to bench him. They really don't have any other depth behind him. I just worry about him being able to duplicate what he did last year, especially if this offense can continue to progress and keep the defense off the field more. It just limits his opportunities. But how far would I drop him? I really don't know that I would drop him too much further either. So just kind of nitpicky, I guess. But, yeah, another solid group here.
Okay, so now we've went through 3 tiers, 15 players. Really? What you got vibrating over there, homie? Never mind. Don't answer that. We're good.
Phone calls. Phone call.
So tier 4, and this was so weird for me because I felt like this was an unnecessary tier, but in my rankings, I just could not figure out exactly what I wanted to do with them. And it's 2 players. So tier 4 is 2 players, 16 and 17. And I think it's going to be 2 of the most talked about and polarizing players from last year as to what to do with them for this year. So if you could figure out what to do with these 2, I think you could eliminate tier 4 altogether. So at 16, I have Xavier McKinney, free safety for the Green Bay Packers. 17, I have Kirby Joseph, free safety for the Detroit Lions. I love both of these players. I love both of their fits where they're at, right? The move for McKinney from New York to Green Bay, I think, was perfect for him and the Packers. I think this is if Kyle was here, and he's fired, by the way, if he's here, he would tell you that's probably the best safety they've had in a few years. I know they got some young guys they're counting on, but for 1 year, first year with them, I thought he did well. Kirby Joseph, I like him a lot, but Brian Branch just destroys him in every facet of the game, right? Now, here's my problem with both of these. As a fantasy manager, I was like, where do I rank these guys? What do I do with them? And the one issue, Sean, that I had with both of them, and it's the same issue. Do you chase those interceptions? McKinney come out the gate, he had what?
7.
7 overall, but he had like 5 in the first 5 games or some shit.
It was, 6 or 7 games. The first 6 or 7 games that he was getting in the
Joseph's caught fire, right? He had a streak too, and I'm like, that's awesome if you got him.
It was great for last year.
Oh, it was so great for last year. I mean, they were probably last year easily top 10 safeties, right? Both of them easily.
Mm-hmm.
But do you chase those interceptions? And here's the nugget. Neither one of them really had high tackle numbers. So if you cut those interceptions in half with the same tackle numbers, that's a hell of a drop. And that was my thing. Do I think they get those interceptions again? No, I don't think either one of them gets it. I think they may be half, 2/3, but they won't get those totals that they had a year ago. And if that's the case, do I think their tackle numbers will go up enough to make up that? And I don't. So based on last year, I think they're top 10 safeties. Based on what I think you're getting this year, they might be outside the top 20 if they can't get those interceptions again. They may be outside the top 25 if they can't get those interceptions again. I mean, that's kind of where I was. Those 2 just, I had no idea where to place them. My gut tells me no, sell now. Like if you're in Dynasty, sell now. Because I don't think you'll ever get the value for those 2 again than you can get right now. Redraft, it was different, right? But you're still chasing. I'm like, I don't know that they replicate that. I mean, do you feel different?
You can't. Interceptions are the one things you cannot chase any player. Like I said, they were great to have last year. To think they can get 8, 9 interceptions again this year, that's
crazy talk, right?
It is crazy talk. And McKinney's move to Green Bay, his tackles went down. He's on a better team. If he was still in New York, we would be talking about him. He would be up there where Newman is. But yeah, he's on a better team. He's a better NFL player than what we're going to get stat wise, I think. And Kirby Joseph, in his 3 years in Detroit, he has scored 82 tackles, and 83 tackles. So for all 3 years, I mean that's fantastic consistency. And his interceptions
Yes.
went from 4 to 9. So the big blow up was the big splash plays. Now, granted, he can. It looks like 4 is his floor, which is really nice. And I do think Detroit's going to find themselves in some shootouts again this year. So he's probably going to get some big plays.
I
But you
will say this.
can't.
Sorry. I will say this about Joseph. Everything that I said previously was true. But I think if I had to pick between him and McKinney who could replicate the interception total, it's Joseph, just because of Brian Branch playing on the other side of him. I think Brian Branch shuts down a lot of the field, and they're like, nope, we're not doing this. We're going this way. So for me, I think if I'm gambling to replicate last season, I think I would take Joseph. But even then, I'm so hesitant on that.
Yeah, and with Joseph and Branch back there, we may just see Hutchinson get more sacks because guys don't pull that trigger on him. So, again, that would shut down those chances for interceptions. As far as what to do with these guys,
I mean, do I have them ranked too high or
no. I know a lot of people wouldn't like it just because of how well they did last year. But
right? I mean, at
realistically,
16 and 17, what do you do with them? 16 and 17 at safety overall. I mean,
yeah, you nailed it, man. They have to come out and get another 8, 9, 10 interceptions each,
right?
To get in the top 10 because their tackle floors aren't there. They're on better teams. They're in different situations to where they can't. Joseph, McKinney, neither one play in the box. So they're the deep guys. Yeah, and it's harder. Kevin Byard is like one of the few guys that can play deep and still give you the numbers of a box safety consistently. And these guys aren't on his level there. So I think you leave them where they're at. I don't really put them up there with Chin and Delpit. Those guys can give me the 100 tackles a little more consistently.
Right.
I feel that they're in better situations on better.
I just felt so weird of having a single tier with 2 players and 2 players that dominated. That was my whole thing. I was like,
yeah,
where
but they
the
didn't have
hell do you
right.
put these guys? I mean, do you move them up? Am I too low or am I too high? I mean, if you're looking at the splash plays interceptions, I'm too low.
Yeah.
If you look at the tackle numbers,
it's not
I'm too high. Yeah, I mean, I really struggled with both of these guys.
Kirby Joseph had 1 tackle for a loss last year, so clearly he doesn't play in the box. It's the tackles for a loss, the sacks, fumbles, stuff like that. Those are things we can go with. Those are safer stats to chase for a safety, not the interception. So I think you did the right thing.
It just felt so weird having a single tier with just 2 players, and those 2 players being arguably 2 of the top safeties from a year ago. It's like, man, I don't even know what to do with this.
That's the most probably rational, realistic thing you can do with it, and not chase those interceptions. Don't take those guys as your.
Thing you've ever said to me.
I know. I'm surprised too.
Oh, what an asshole! Kyle's fired. So tier 5. All right, we've went through 4 tiers, 17 players. This group is a broad range for me. Young guys, old guys, experienced rookies. Well, not rookies, but maybe second years, whatever. But number 18, I went with Deshaun Elliott, free safety for the Steelers. So I want to stop here for a minute and talk about him. He's been a player that I've kind of liked since he entered the league. Never really been a superstar or a star. He's kind of been in that third tier. But last year he went to Pittsburgh, and he had a career year. 108 tackles, 72 solos, 4 TFLs, 2 quarterback hits. He had 6 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries. He did a little bit of everything, and that's playing next to Minka, right? Who we kind of talked about. I think with Minka out of the picture, Deshaun Elliott's his game is going to go to another level. They got great linebacker play. They've got great defensive line play, edge rusher pressure. Overall, as a team, those 3 groups are arguably among the top. Your secondary can eat, and now you've got probably one of your better players in your secondary gone. And here's the thing, for me, this is how I looked at it. You're trading Minka, who's kind of competing with you, Deshaun Elliott, at safety. You're trading him away, and you're getting an elite corner. Jalen Ramsey is elite. He doesn't get the recognition I think he deserves because he's so outlandish and brash and whatever. But the last couple seasons with the Rams and Miami, he can really shut down half of a field. So Ramsey is not really competition for Elliott, right? He actually is helping Elliott because you're shutting down a quarter, a half, or a third of a field. You lost your safety competition in Fitzpatrick. For me, I think Elliott makes a freaking huge jump this year. Love that for him. Number 19, Javon Bullard, strong safety for the Packers. This was another reason that I dropped McKinney because I think Bullard is the safety you want. McKinney's going to patrol back there, secondary, deep field. Bullard's going to come up and hit you. Now, he's good in pass protection, can do all that, but he's going to come up and freaking rock your world. So I like that. 21, Kyle Duggar. He's just an all-around player, and now he's got Mike Vrabel, a defensive-minded coach, on a team that's lacking for some talent. So I think Duggar rises up. Number 22, Harrison Smith, strong safety, Minnesota. He's definitely a one-year rental. I mean, he's had an excellent career. He's from here in Tennessee, right down the road from me, not too far from you. He's had an excellent career. Dynasty, I don't think I want any part of him. I'm trying to trade him. But in 1 year, I like him. And it was kind of touch and go the last couple of years with Bynum, right? But Bynum's gone now, so it's just him and Metellus. For 1 year, give me Harrison. And Bynum, now that he's gone, I think he's going to, once he gets away from Metellus, Harrison, Bynum trio, now that he's out of that into a role of his own, I think we'll see him flourish. And then at number 24, I had Minka. And I made my list and rankings and kind of had him just a little higher. Well, like 2 spots higher. And then the trade happened, and I was like, oh, wow, he got traded back home to the team that drafted him, whatever, right? And I was like, wait a minute. Did this trade really help him fantasy-wise? And I don't know that it did. I mean, for me, I don't know that there's a change, and if there is a change, I kind of want to say he got a lesser end of the deal. I think if there's a change, he drops a little bit. So Elliott, Bullard, Metellus, Duggar, Smith, Bynum, Fitzpatrick. So 6 in tier 5.
Deshaun Elliott's role definitely changes, I think, with Minka gone. I just hope
Yes.
it's not to a deep safety role, which he doesn't really fit his style. So I don't know
No,
what else they're going to do there yet. Uh, that's one I'm keeping an eye on. But Deshaun Elliott goes pretty unnoticed in redraft
and I get it. I'm a little
to
higher on
where,
him than most, but I just
I
don't
mean,
like.
he's a guy I usually pick up off waivers because he's always out there. So if nothing else, if I see the matchup right, I'll pick him up, or if I get an injury or something. But he's just one of those guys that just goes overlooked every year. So you can get him for nothing in redrafts. Javon Bullard started out next to McKinney. Then Evan Williams took his spot. Bullard went to the nickel position. Williams kept getting hurt, so Bullard kept moving back there. So he got moved around a lot. So he's shown some versatility. Don't know if he starts in the nickel again this year. For one, it puts him up near the line of scrimmage, so there is more tackle opportunities there. But then it cuts down his playing time to probably 70% instead of full time
Yeah,
100%
but
safety.
do we trust Williams to stay
No,
healthy?
absolutely
There
not.
it is.
Yeah. But that's something we're going to have to watch for where he's going to end up lining up. But I mean, as far as tiers, I think he's in a good spot. Now, Josh Metellus, I would have him higher just because of what he has done there with Brian Flores and that defense.
I think. He was one that was hard for me to rank too because I was like, man, they got this three-headed monster, Metellus, Harrison, Bynum. Bynum's gone. So my thinking was, if one of these, if Metellus was traded, Smith retired, Bynum was traded, if one of the three would disappear, the other two I think would take a hit or a bump up. So I really didn't know which one at the time. I really like Metellus, and I think once Harrison Smith retires, and I think that's damn soon, probably within the next year or two.
Yeah, I think this is his last ride.
Yeah, and I think once that happens and they get a true free safety, Metellus is going to be a dude, man. He is. He's already a dude, but
yes,
dynasty-wise, I think he's going to be a star. This year, I think you just kind of got to pump the brakes. 22's, what do I have him? 20? That's not bad.
Yeah, I would actually put him somewhere up there between Kyle Hamilton and Jeremy Chin because he's had 100 tackle seasons
I like that.
last 2 years.
I love that over Hamilton.
He's not just playing safety. Like he's more of the second linebacker because they're only really running Cashman out there. And if he's hurt, then it's just pace. So Metellus is your second linebacker / nickel / safety. He's the guy coming in some blitzes. He's playing the run. He's playing downhill. He's not
he plays in the box a lot.
Yeah. He is not the deep safety at all. So
no, definitely not.
So yeah, I got no problem shooting him way up there just because of where he's being put. And he, as far as splash plays, he'll get an interception every now and then. He got several forced fumbles 2 years ago and some sacks. But so he's right there in that Jeremy Chin, Kyle Hamilton, in between those guys where he's got that consistent tackle floor, just not a lot of the big splash plays to put him up there with like Branch and Bates and all those guys. So I would definitely put him higher. Duggar, I would not put him higher, but with the new system coming in, they upgraded Robert Spillane around him, brought in Milton Williams.
Spillane does hurt his value.
I think so too.
Because they're so void of talent.
Yeah.
I think for this year, I think he kind of still blends.
Yeah, I really don't have a problem where he's at. You might make a case for him to go up higher, but you're not going to push him up too much higher, I think.
Right.
Because for the last few years, it's been like Jelani Tavai or the ghost of Jawan Bentley and just whoever they could get out there. So,
right.
Yeah, I do think he takes a hit. So I really don't have a problem with that. Harrison Smith, man, for as old as he is and still putting up the numbers he does, Yeah, he's not prime Harrison Smith for sure, but it's cool to see him still out there, still a Viking.
Andy's done it all for the same team, man.
It's just unheard of.
I know.
Bynum, I don't know what to do with Bynum.
I don't either. I was like, man, and here was my thing with Bynum. I was like, okay, he gets traded, right? He's gone. He gets, with that trade, he gets a presumed full starting role.
Which he's had.
But yeah, in Minnesota the past 2 years, even in a full starting role, he's had to deal with Metellus and Harrison Smith. He don't have those no more. So naturally, I would say up, right?
I mean, he's been an 80, 90 tackle guy 2 of those years, and I think 125, 130 the 1 year in between.
And I don't think his new team, my brain went blank.
It's the Colts.
The Colts, I don't think they have, well, I ain't going to say think, I don't believe they have the defensive front that Minnesota's got, right? I mean, for me, I know they got Forrest Buckner and
Grover Stewart, but yeah, the edge rushers are what's lacking in Indianapolis. Linebacker is solid, or one of them. Kenny Moore is there, getting old. I don't know where he's going to play. I don't know if this is if he's going to be the deep.
I think he can play a little bit outside too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll probably end up being the deep guy. Cross will probably be the box guy.
Right.
And if they feel froggy enough,
that
then
hurt Cross either. When I
right.
had my rankings, I was like, oh, they got Bynum now. But like you said, Cross is going to be the strong. He's going to play down in the box, all that stuff. So,
yeah, Minka.
Oof, what a fall, right?
He's had such a crazy career because he started out like McKinney, where he was. He was the splash play guy. He didn't have the tackles. Like he had to get the interceptions and stuff like that. Over the years, he has flipped to a tackle guy and less splash plays. So it's really neat to see him kind of come around and be the tackle guy, a bit of the enforcer there. Not everybody does that. Usually you get the flashy guy. He stays the flashy guy. But, he's pulled up plenty of, 90, 100 tackle seasons. But going to Miami, I just don't know, man. It's not a great defense in front of him. They don't have a very good line either. The linebackers I feel are pretty solid. And I assume Minka's going to play deep and maybe Melifonwu plays up near the box. That's my guess. Right. I don't know that for sure.
I wouldn't argue that. I think
Ashton Davis, I think, just went to the bench right. As soon as they got Fitzpatrick, I think he's the odd man out. I'm probably not drafting Fitzpatrick just because I don't know what they're going to do with him. I'm going to give it a couple of weeks into the season. If he's out there on the waivers and does something, then I'll scoop him up. But
so I want to run something by you on Fitzpatrick, and I know I had him. Now that I look at this, I had him at 24, which that's where we're, I guess maybe not. So in Miami, he got drafted by the Dolphins, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 2018, 80 tackles, 2 interceptions, 9 pass deflections. 2019.
Hey, he got traded that next year with just a couple games in the season.
And 2019, he played 2 games for the Dolphins. And he really didn't do anything. He had 12 tackles, a pass deflection. He gets traded from them to Pittsburgh, where he plays 14 games for them, right? He racks up 57 tackles, 5 interceptions, 130 return yards, a touchdown, 9 pass deflections. Oh, by the way, let me throw in a fumble, a forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, rocket ship me to the moon, I'm all in. I was one of them. 2020, Pittsburgh, 79 tackles, 4 interceptions. 9 interceptions in 2 years, but 4 interceptions, another touchdown, 11 pass deflections, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. 2021, boom, 124 tackles, career high, right? 2 interceptions, 11 pass, or sorry, 2 interceptions, 7 pass deflections, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, this is the guy." And I'm still on this train. 2022, 96 tackles. All right, he had a regression, which we all kind of thought, but still, there it is. 96 tackles, 6 interceptions, a career high, 94 return yards, another touchdown, and 11 PBUs, a career high. Ties a career. I mean, it's at this point, it was just like printing money, right? Everybody loved it. 2023, he was hurt a little bit, only played 10 games, but 64 tackles, 3 pass deflections. Then last year, he comes back, he's healthy, played every game, 96 tackles, so he's back up there. Only 1 interception, only 4 pass deflections.
That's what I mean.
Like,
he flipped.
He flipped, but I'm okay with that. Now, here, let me put this to you. He goes back to Miami, right? And I kind of drug this out. Sorry for being so long-winded, but I want to prove my point. Miami, when he got drafted that year and a half, he was a Tier 3 safety. He goes to Pittsburgh, a much better team, a lot better talent, and he instantly become a Tier 1 safety. Now, I know the last year or so he kind of dropped off because of the injury or whatever, but, I mean, he was still a Tier 1 safety. Now he goes back to Miami, which is a lesser defensive team. I think he takes a big hit right here. Right?
Yeah. I think when you go to those years in Pittsburgh, you had elite pass rusher. You had solid run stuffers in front of it.
You had elite linebackers.
Who was your elite linebacker?
In Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Well, you had T.J. Watt for a few years. You had.
Well, I'm counting. He's the edge rusher, man. You gotta.
Oh yeah.
Let that go.
Now I gotta let this go. Motherfucker, you're a dick.
Yeah. Got you.
No, you didn't get me.
Got you.
No, you never. That's a lie. I want it on record. He's a liar.
Yeah. I think it was just better pass rushers and probably better corners. So allowed him to be that playmaker and kind of be all over. Going to Miami, he's not going to. Zach Sealer's the best thing they have on that defensive line. Oof. Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, both coming back from injuries. How effective are they going to be? Chop Robinson didn't look bad. So maybe if one of those guys stay healthy, then they can produce a pass rush.
Oh, he had Devin Bush for a couple of years. That was his linebacker for the first couple of years.
That's what I'm saying. Pittsburgh's middle linebackers haven't been much for fantasy, and that's just the way they run.
I get that. I mean, they've been decent, but not great. But that defensive line, right?
Yeah. It's the line, and then it's the outside corners.
Hayward.
We had Patrick Peterson there for a long time, so that kind of took up part of the field.
My point was he had a better talent. He had a better team overall around him.
Yeah. Allowed him to run around and do whatever.
He's going to take a big hit, but maybe I'm wrong.
Because right now the starting corners for Miami are like Storm Duck, Cater Kohu's in the slot.
Storm Duck, App State, North Carolina. Shout out.
I don't even remember who the other guy was on the other side. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Well, it used to be Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, I know it.
Now it's oh God, who is it over there?
It's Storm Duck's one of the outsides.
Yeah, he's the young guy, but it seems like they had another veteran.
They had Kendall Fuller last year, but they let him go.
Maybe that's who I'm thinking of. But
this year it's going to have to be Cam Smith or some other unproven guy. That's where we're at. Not looking good for Miami corners this year.
Yeah.
Well,
so we'll move.
Yeah, that's the end of that tier.
Yeah, we'll move on to my final tier, tier 6. So I try to rank the top 28, right? Because I feel like on average, most leagues are 14 teams. Maybe some are 12, maybe some are 16, 18, whatever. Maybe some are 10. So I feel like 14
Pretty
is
solid. Yeah.
pretty solid, right? Give or take. So I rank my top 28. So my tier 6, I didn't know where to rank this guy either, really. Mainly because I'm not a big fan of his and I don't own any shares.
Yeah. I'm with you.
But he produces, right? So 25 had Quentin Lake, strong safety for the Rams. And another thing, before I forget, another thing for me that hurt him is the Rams, for all those years, said F them picks. But when they started using them, they have a pretty freaking crowded safety room. They got a lot of youngsters, right? They got the kid from Tennessee. I think it's not Jalen Thompson.
Kitchens.
Who?
You got Curl there. You got Kitchens. Hang on.
Curling.
Cam Curl, Cameron Kitchens.
The kid from Tennessee. What's his name? Oh my God.
At safety?
Jalen McCullough.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like they've got so much talent, young talent. I just don't know where Lake kind of fits in. I think because of his experience and what he's done, he's going to keep getting that role. But I think these young guys, they're eating him up, right? I mean, they're right behind him. 26, I had Geno Stone, strong safety for the Bengals. I like what he did, right? I thought he had a lot of impact plays, but the tackles weren't there. That's kind of the thing. I feel like Geno Stone was my Deshaun Elliott 2.0. I think those two were so close. And I think it's about opportunity and what you can do, your role. But Deshaun Elliott had, over 100 tackles. Geno Stone, I think he was only around 70 or 80. So
yeah, I'm thinking
quite
80s.
Yeah, that's quite a drop. Number 27. Can't wait for you. So before I get to 27, I'm going to go to 28. My last one was Amani Hooker. We talked about him for the Titans. I think with Woods in town affects him a little bit, but he didn't have the high tackle. I could have easily put him up there with McKinney and Joseph, right? Because you have the interceptions, the low tackles. But I felt like he wasn't quite as good as those two. So I'm going to go back to 27. Malachi Starks, free safety, Baltimore. I don't like to rank rookies for fantasy very high in year one because the odds are against you, right? But you've got, and we've talked about this, you've got Kyle Hamilton, strong safety for the Baltimore Ravens. Stud, my number 9 overall. You just going to plug in a rookie because, and let me say this, I don't think this opportunity would have happened had a Darius Washington not got hurt.
I'm with you.
I love the fit when they drafted him. I thought, yes, Dynasty Starks is the play. Year 2-ish, 3 is the play for him. When the news came out about a Darius Washington, I went straight to my waiver wire. I ain't going to lie. Because I was trying to grab him. Or, draft picks. I was trying to set myself up where I could grab him in rookie drafts. This is kind of huge because we've talked about Baltimore already, how good they are. Defensive front, linebacker, safety with Hamilton, your corners, whatever. And then you're going to draft this kid? Again, if Washington doesn't get hurt, this probably doesn't happen. But Starks is going to be your starting free safety. He doesn't have to play in the box. Who cares? Let him patrol deep, which is kind of his game, right?
Yeah.
He can defend. He can cover. Not that he can't tackle. He can do that. But, man, he just gets to step into a winning situation and be like, here I am. Just do what you do. I wanted to have him ranked higher for this year. But I think if he does what he's supposed to do this year, Darius Washington won't be around, at least not in the starting role next year either, because I think Starks takes over and playing next to Hamilton and behind Smith and that. I think the sky's the moon for Malachi Starks. I think he is an absolute star in the making on that team.
I just don't know how much opportunity he's going to get because of Hamilton, because of Roquan, because of the other guys there. I think he is going to be interception independent or dependent, just because he's not in the box. He is going to, if he can get a few interceptions, he's going to go up. There's one rookie I like better than him. We'll talk about him here in a few.
No, we're not talking about him. That's a Seahawks Dan player, and we're not talking about Seahawks on this show.
I'm going to. We already talked about Julian Moore. But no, I do think Nick Emenwari is the play. Looking at where they've been lining him up.
Yep.
But we'll hit those.
I got a few shares of him, and honestly, I could have. Us arguing if you want to take out Starks and put in Emenwari or vice versa, I'd be okay with that. Really,
I'd probably take out Geno Stone and then put Emenwari on there.
right.
But I mean, we're at that point of the safeties anyway, so it's kind of dealer's choice.
Yeah, when you're getting to 25 through 28, that's
I
know that's tier 1 based or tier 2 based on 14 teams, but back end of tier 2, front end of round 3. I mean, that's pretty close, right? I mean,
yeah. I don't have a problem with these guys, any of them really just being there. Hooker, injury concerns. We're not sure what that's going to look like. But again, it's a bad defense in front of them, so the opportunities should be there.
God, and their linebackers are horrible. Oh, my God.
What linebackers?
Exactly.
So
why are we being punished, Sean? Why?
I don't know, man. We had one. We had one, and we traded him to Seahawks.
For real, really?
Again, with Quentin Lake, he was the guy that benefited from, again, not great linebacker play and being the slot guy.
True.
But when you look at just their safeties, it's Curl, Kitchens, it's McCullough. I mean, there's so many mouths to feed.
It's a hodgepodge, and they're young, but I think it's such a mess that I think it hurts Lake. I really do.
But it's still Troy Reader is the linebacker. So any of them could be on this list.
That's horrible.
So let's jump to. I got some guys here on the side, and
okay, who did I miss? I know I missed somebody because you've not said nothing all night.
Yeah, well, because of the injury last year and where this guy has produced over the years, but he's also been injury prone over the years. Antoine Winfield. He could be tier 1. He could be right there beside Buda Baker, or he could slide down to Jeremy Chin.
Actually,
because
I think
injury concerns.
Somebody else mentioned that, and I think I updated my rankings. But I still think he's like in that last tier. But yeah, injuries killed him, right? I mean, when he's healthy and on.
Yeah, when he's on the field, he's one of the best out there. But
he's probably right there with Brian Branch, right? I know they're kind of a couple years apart, but overall, when Winfield's healthy, he's right there with Branch.
His tackles put him in the Kobe Joseph section, minus the 120 tackle a year. But he gets sacks. He's getting at least 2 sacks a year, up to 6, so that bumps him up. But then his interceptions aren't really there, so that brings him back down. Pass deflections aren't really there, so that brings it down.
Yeah,
but he's got fumbles, so that goes up. You know what I mean? So he's when he's on the
Yeah.
field, he's one of the top dogs.
He's kind of what you want as a player overall, right? I mean, he's a box score filler. He's never going to excite you or wow you at any one stat. Like, he's not going to have 10, 12 tackles a game. He's not going to have 7, 8 interceptions in the year. But he's going to give you 7, 8 tackles a game. He's going to give you 3 or 4 interceptions. Hey, let me throw in 3 or 4 sacks. Hey, I'll get you 6 or 7 pass deflections. Yeah. He's
so he belongs. I don't know, tier 1 or tier 2. I'd say tier 2 with tier 1 upside.
ooh, see, tier 1 scares me because of the injuries. Tier 2, I would honestly give you that.
Yeah.
That's
I put him ahead of Newman, behind James. I think that's fair assessment.
see, I don't know. I think I'd still keep Newman ahead of him.
Well, Newman's only played 1 year and he got hurt too. So
Yeah, but damn. I mean, if you want to chase a stat, you're chasing tackles, right?
yeah, but when Winfield can must guarantee me some sacks too and force fumbles and stuff like that. So he gives me a little more, not quite big splash play, but he's still getting some splash play there. Quarterback hits, tackles for a loss, stuff like that.
I get it. I don't hate it. I'm just, I'm kind of arguing there. I got it.
No, I get you. Let's see.
I feel like there's one that's glaring that you're just dying to roast me about.
I mean, that's the biggest one. I'm trying to figure out where I rank these guys as I'm doing this. Jaquan Brisker is another one who, again, it's injuries.
Yes.
And when he's on the field, he could be a tackling machine. With Byard there, it didn't seem to matter when he did play last year.
Right.
Because he had 40 tackles in 5 games.
That's 8 a game.
That's pretty good. That's
Yep.
that's pretty good for a safety.
That's pretty decent.
That's behind T.J. Edwards. That's with Kevin Byard there. Not the greatest defensive line up front, but now they've added Grady Jarrett right up the middle. That's going to help solidify that. That's going to help keep the linebackers clean. If he could just stay healthy, Brisker could be up here in the low end of tier 2 probably. Doesn't really offer much more, maybe some sacks here and there, but not enough splash play to put him up any higher than that. But I would put him ahead of Jeremy Chin probably, just if he's healthy. Yeah, I think his tackle floor is higher than Chin's, or tackle floor consistency is better than Chin's. Where Chin is more up and down.
I'll give you that, but I think the big impact plays that Chin can give you now in Washington makes up for that.
Well, he's in Vegas now. Chin is.
Yeah.
But all right, so that's those two. What do you do with Jalen Petrie? He's moved to the slot. That's where they want to play.
No idea. Him. That's a good question.
But they turn around and bring in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who also plays the slot.
Right.
So it felt like Petrie had kind of found his spot when they moved into the slot. Felt like the nickel. Felt like he could produce again. Then he got hurt. You bring in Gardner Johnson,
who's had injury issues of his own.
Who's had some injury issues? I think Jimmy Ward is the guy, deep guy. Is he still there?
Who's also had some injury issues.
Yeah. we got
ugly.
We got an IR team waiting. No, Kalen Bullock is the other one there. So
yeah, the young guy. Yeah. Still.
So I figured Bullock plays deep. Gardner Johnson's probably the box, and Petrie's the nickel. So also the box.
Yeah, I'm kind of out on Pete. I'm kind of out on all of them. I
guess that's kind of where I'm going to. But
I guess
it's
if I was in Dynasty where you could play the long game, you take Bullock. That's the obvious play.
I think so too.
Yeah. Outside of that, oof, that's fucking ugly, man.
Another very consistent guy who switched teams, Justin Reed. I think he's
Yeah.
solid tackle guy. It's
Yeah.
the big plays we don't get. Not enough of them. We might get a couple interceptions, maybe a sack every now and then. But going to the Saints, who does not project to be a great team on offense. You got an aging Cameron Jordan, an aging Demario Davis, a regular nobody Pete Warner. I feel like he can jump up his tackles this year. You got Tyrann Matthews, the other safety. I think he pretty much has to play deep. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they keep Reed deep, but I think there's enough to boost Reed up this year, just because of how bad the team is around him and on offense.
Yeah, I mean,
but his tackle numbers are mid 80s, low 90s. But he doesn't offer enough to really jump up too high on this list. I'd probably put him down there where you got Duggar, maybe Harrison Smith, kind of that area. I think he's solid enough for that.
yeah, that's probably close. That's fair. I'd give you that. Yeah.
And some guys that I have high hopes for. Jordan Battle's the first one, just because of how bad the Bengals look on defense right now. Somebody's got to make some tackles. Yeah.
Yeah.
But where do I put him? But probably right there with Geno.
You just triggered a thought in my head, and this is how my brain works as IDP. You're like Jordan Battle, whatever, and instantly I went, if Trey Hendrickson isn't there, his value shoots through the roof.
Yeah, because somebody's got to make tackles.
Well, I mean, if you don't have Trey Hendrickson up there getting 35 tackles in 34 games, putting elite pressure, you don't have anybody else as a pass rusher.
Yeah, it's
so
slim.
If you're not getting pressure, that means there's a lot more passes going downfield. I like it, but that's just how my brain works. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I get it. He hasn't done enough to just really throw up on this list just yet, but he's somebody I'm really interested in seeing this year, who I think can be sneaky.
Yep, agree.
Another sleeper I'm excited for, Jaden Hicks, rookie last year. He was kind of the odd man out with you had Justin Reed there, I think Brian Cook or Mike Edwards, I forget. And then Shamari Connor was playing the slot, the nickel spot.
Yeah, that was kind of my one worry with him is
where does he slot
and how much of a role he gets, yeah.
Yeah, but the way Steve Spagnuolo likes to run his defense, it's not so much linebacker oriented, it's lots of pressure up front. He's known for his defensive lines and versatile defensive backs, whether it be Trip McDuffie or L'Jarius Sneed, Tyrann Matthew when he was there, maybe Jaden Hicks. I'm hoping he's the guy that gets turned loose this year and really steps up and throws some big numbers for us. Just a sleeper pick I like. I'm keeping an eye on.
How dare you? You didn't even mention our boy in Tennessee that come over from there. Who? McDuffie.
Oh, I just did.
You know what? You know our boy.
Just did. For last, let's go with Nick Amenwari, the Seahawk himself. I'm excited because
I think so too.
The reports I've seen, they have been running him at safety, which we have Julian Love, we have Kobe Bryant, who was solid last year as well. So he's been getting practice at both safety spots. They've had him next to Ernest Jones in the linebacker position. They've been practicing him there. They've been putting him in the slot and the nickel spot, which is where
putting him in linebacker because of his size and his speed, weight. You know.
That's the thing. Devin Witherspoon is the nickel, but they've been playing him at nickel as well. So that tells me no matter what formation they go with, they're going to have a spot for him on that defense. If they're using him up in the box like that consistently, it's been talked about McDonald wants to go 3 safeties.
Well,
One
now, see,
linebacker.
That may change it if they go through safeties. If it's
They
just
go-
2 safeties, I think Julian Love being there kind of hurts, right? I mean, that
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
hurts his back.
Julian Love isn't coming off the field.
Right.
But I don't know
So
that
if you
Evan
go to a
Worry.
3 safety set, which we've talked about, the past 3-4 years, that's the new trend, 3 safeties,
Yeah.
big nickel. If that's the case and they go that way, then I'd give Nick and Monoware, I'd bump him up. Yep.
The way they're moving him in practice and the way they traded up to pick him tells me that they have plans to go with him now.
True.
Tyrese Knight, Worry feels interchangeable, right? Like I said, you're not exactly taking a stud linebacker off the field. So basically, he could be that. He could be Josh Metellus. He could be the Josh Metellus role for Seattle.
Yeah.
Or you got Knight there in the middle with Ernest Jones, and then you have Witherspoon as the nickel over here, and Evan Worry as a possible corner. There was talks of that as well. So I don't know how much outside, or maybe they kick Witherspoon outside every now and then and put Evan Worry there. But they have plans on moving him everywhere. That can be really good because a lot of it was closer to the line of scrimmage, or they're going to move him around so much that he can't get near the ball.
True.
So, but I'm more excited about him over Malachi Starks just because we all project Starks to be the deep guy, where it's going to have to be interceptions, pass breakups to really get those points. If Emanwari is up by the line of scrimmage, those tackle floors shoots him up, and he's already tier 3 at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he's getting the tackle opportunities.
And you're triggering some of my memories now.
I didn't mean to trigger you.
I know. That's what you're good at. Kyle's fired. Dan ain't worth the poop. I think when I was making my rankings, my tiers, this was where kind of I had a conflict, right? Malachi Starks, Nick Amonaware, for everything that you just said, you're perfectly right. For everything I said on Starks, I think you're right. I just think with Darius Washington gone, to me, my belief is that Baltimore knew they needed to upgrade over a Darius Washington. He's been great for them, terrific, whatever. They knew they needed an upgrade there. I think Starks was the right decision. But with Washington out of the way, he kind of gets the golden ticket, right? It's kind of different from Monoware because the overall talent of the defense is not as good there as it is for Starks, in my opinion. So I think for Monoware, while he may have a better fit, a better role, I think the pressure is going to be a little more for him. And how does he handle that? Starks, I think you just plug him in and let him play because he's like, hey, I got Roquan Smith here. I got freaking Kyle Hamilton here. I got freaking Odea Wafe over here. I mean, he's kind of loaded. He can just play free.
The really interesting thing here is Mike McDonald, head coach for Seattle, was Baltimore's defensive guy for the longest time. So he's set that defense up.
True.
So you know what I mean? Like the similarities are really fascinating with the way McDonald is trying to design his team. Like Ernest, it took him a while because they started out with Terrell Dotson this last year. He finally got to Ernest Jones to be your Roquan, I guess.
Oof.
And then they had who else they had? They had Leonard Williams was the Matabuke. You know what I mean? So he's kind of built it similar fashion. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how those two rookies and both of them should definitely make some impacts. I'm not sure I would trust any other rookies this year.
I mean, if I'm going dynasty, I'm taking both of
Yeah,
them.
Dynasty's
Starks and
different. Yeah,
Amana. You'd be stupid not to have one of those two on your team in dynasty. Redraft 2025. I don't hate either one of them. You can flip them in and out. But for me, I think I like for this year. I think expectations, what he can do, team around him. I just think I like Starks a little bit more. Just
yeah,
that's my personal
right.
thought. But yeah, Dynasty, they're going to kill, right? Both of them are. Oof.
I would assume
Oof.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be dudes. We're going to look back at this class, I think, in what 3-4 years.
I don't even know if you have to go that far.
Maybe not, but I think 3-4 years you're going to look back and say safeties. You're going to be like, what the hell was I? Because they're going.
Should be pretty close. ADP
If I'm
wise.
not mistaken, they're going like late third, early fourth in rookie drafts.
Yeah,
If
I was
you
trying
need
to
a
pull up
safety,
ours to see where
that's
it went.
insane. Yeah, let me see if I can get my spreadsheet here.
Trying to check this listener league here. Starks went 3-1,
Uh,
3-10 for Evan Wardy. So same round, third round. You're right.
yeah, so I mean, if you need a safety or defensive back where you're starting, I don't know what, 2 to 3 in general leagues, 4 to 6 dynasty leagues, or position specific. Can't tell me that Amana Warren and Starks can easily finish tier or safety 3, safety 4. That's easy. I'll take that all day because they're probably both are going to finish higher than that.
Yeah. Redraft wise, I don't know. I would take either one unless it's just a super deep league where you're starting more than 2 safeties or defensive backs or whatever.
Well, I guess it depends on what you're starting too, right? Like if you're only starting 2 to 3, 3 to 4 defensive backs, or you're starting 3 to 5 safeties versus.
If you're starting that many safeties, then yeah, they're going to end up on your team. But if it's just two safeties, I'm staying away from rookies a lot of times just because of the uncertainty.
Well, if you're playing in a league that starts, I don't know what, 1 defensive lineman, 2 linebackers, 1 defensive back, you're probably not touching either one of those.
You're never going to worry about it.
I mean, you're going to have to be in a deep league position specific type. Like best ball, you play
best
more
ball,
best ball than I do.
Best ball, I would take a shot on them. If it's like right now, I'm in 4 IDP only best balls, and that's they're charity. They're for breast cancer awareness. IDP only, yeah, they're getting drafted for sure, just because of the potential for a spike week. But that's best ball, no waivers. We're drafting, and the lineup's going to do its thing the rest of the year. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like some of my other IDP only leagues, some of them go 4 and up to 6 deep at defensive back / safety. So you could potentially start 6 safeties if you wanted. In a league like that, if you decide to go heavy on the safeties, they're going to get on your team. It's probably not smart. You probably need to put linebackers in those spots. But depending on how deep that or how many teams are in that league, it can get pretty hairy. So these guys are probably going to be on a team. That doesn't mean they start.
Right. Got one more name for you before we go.
What you got? I've been kind of looking, see who
It's
I
a rookie,
forgot.
and I'm curious because I was looking at my spreadsheet.
Watts.
No, but that is another one. Andrew Makuba, safety for the Eagles.
I'm not sold on him this year.
Not this year, but Dynasty.
Dynasty-wise, I think he's worth a grab. But redraft, he's not even on my radar right now.
And you know, in rookie drafts, in that spreadsheet I got, check it out over at our Patreon. But in that spreadsheet, it's kind of Imanaware and Starks, right? They're the kind of like 1-2. It's kind of like the Jalen Walker and Michael Williams bullshit. 1-2. Which
Right.
don't even get me started on those two. Anyway, but usually when you see one drafted, you see the other.
Yeah.
Makuba is almost 2 full rounds later. And I'm like, if I'm
that
not
goes with
hurting for a starter,
right. Yeah,
I'm
if you
going to
got the
have to take
spot,
Makuba because that's pretty good value.
it just comes down to right now with safeties because you can rotate those or defensive backs in general. They're considered
Right.
less important,
Right.
easily replaced. So you're looking for the guys with now opportunities. That's why these are the only 2 safeties that are really being talked about. Makuba is not because he doesn't have that immediate start, I don't think. And just the way the defense is built, it's the Cooper DeJean show right now, and then Reed Blankenship's back there. But that doesn't mean he couldn't start. So I assume it's Tristan McCullum is the other safety, maybe Sidney Brown. That train may have
Yeah,
sailed by
I think
now, but
it's a mix, I think.
yeah. So yeah, maybe by the year's end, the end of the season, we could might see him thrown in a little more or something. Injuries, always names to look at, keep an eye on.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, just a name that I noticed we hadn't mentioned, and I was like, hey, it's kind of an intriguing one because, I liked him at Texas. I thought he was a really good safety for them, and I thought his game translated well. And I was like, when all these rookie drafts came out, I was like, why is he not kind of getting the same love as Starks and Amanaware? So, anyway, anything else? Anybody else you want to mention?
Not really. Some of these guys are just injured, and camp battles are going to be interesting for some of them.
Right.
Nobody that I'm just rushing out to get. Yeah, I think I'm good.
Well, I think I've burnt your ear up long enough, man. Hopefully, we can get you writing something like you did last year for us. But he said no. It's slow head
Yeah.
nod from left to right. He said no. Well, we won't get Sean writing anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go over to the Patreon, check out, from NFL all the way down to high school. If you're looking for something for fantasy football, I've got all kinds of stuff going on over there. Free stuff, paid stuff, whatever you're looking for, check that out. Sean, you're not paying attention here.
I don't doubt that. I'm easily distracted.
Well, this is true. This is very true. Anyway, my computer's not acting well, so we thank you for listening. We thank you for tuning in. This is our safety episode. I don't know what happened there. It went away. Next week, we're going to do edges, Sean. Edge rushers.
I've heard of them.
You've heard of them? Good.
There's about 7 top ones, and then it gets messy after that. If half of those
You're
7,
exactly right. I think there's probably 8, but we'll get there. There's 8.
I threw out a number. I really couldn't name that many off the top of my head that I would consider in that elite tier 2.
I think there's honestly 8.
Yeah, and about half of them are potentially holding out.
Yes.
So,
But yeah, next week we'll do edge rushers. Then from there we'll do linebackers, tackles, defensive tackles, and corners. But whatever. So next week is edge rushers. I thought you would roast me more on my list. I was kind of like, oh, he's going to burn me up on a few things. But
yeah, because
I think once I explained it, it helped.
it's easy to look at a list and Well, so a lot of times we look at a list and we remember what they did last year,
Right.
and you can't do that. We got to look at what's going to happen this year. If we draft last year's best team, we're going to lose.
Yes.
Because,
and how did the team
yeah.
change around them too?
Hey man, I've been doing a fantastic series with my buddy Rodrigue over at IDP Plus, where we looked at the repeat rates of the top 24. So from last year to this year, how many of the top 24 at each position will repeat to be in the top 24 again? Does that make sense? All right, so there was a 10-year study where they averaged these out. And I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but for like safeties, I want to say it was like 11 that repeat from the top 24.
Oh wow!
So we took the top 24 and we eliminated, 13 of them and had to replace them with 13 others. You're talking about making your brain hurt to really think and to really look at which of these seasons were a spike or, like the all-time, this is their peak, it's not going to happen again. Right. Defensive coordinators moving, strengths of schedule, new teammates around, just new situations, age, all kinds of variables. So, again, when you look at a list and you're like, well, so-and-so did this last year, why do you have them so low?
Right.
You can't go off that. So, yeah, when I look down at McKinney and Joseph, it didn't bother me that you had them like that because I understood why.
Yeah, and I tell you, I wanted to have them lower. I mean,
yeah,
really,
right,
I wanted to have them lower. I really did.
Right.
I was like, damn.
I get that too.
I mean, even if you cut 8 and 9 interceptions in half to 5 and 4, right?
Yeah,
it's
the low tackles
season, but
yeah,
those tackle numbers are brutal.
Exactly.
We're up to the G5 Hive. If you're a fan of Davey IDP Grind, Justice is my co-host. He also does the G5 Hive with Lucas, so they're offensive. Well, I won't say offensive only, but they're offensive based. They do like the the G5, like the Sun Belt and all those leagues. So yeah, go check them out. What's up, Justice? I'm sure that's you. Yeah, I was so worried what you were going to say about McKinney and Joseph because I was just like, man, I felt wrong ranking both of them where I ranked them. Each way, I was like, man, those interceptions, if you're chasing those interceptions, they're probably in the top tier. Easy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
but
you can't.
But if you don't get those interceptions with those tackle numbers, you're screwed.
And like I said, you're right, exactly. And going back to the safeties I eliminated both of them out of the top 24. So I was right there with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate you for what you're doing, but I think if you're, like you was talking about last year's numbers, if that's what you're doing, man, those two they're going to freaking screw you over. Big time.
These guys are doing special teams, offensive line. Whew. Where do you have the time, fellas? Where do you have the time?
Oh, man, alive. Yeah. G5 Hive says even offensive line, the whole 9 yards. But seriously,
respect,
go check,
guys. Major respect.
Yeah. Hey, Justice knows his stuff. So does Lucas. Go check them out if you're into Davey stuff. G5 Hive. But, man, thank you to Trophy Smack. You want to show your pretty little ring you got off there again before we go?
Yeah, I think I still have it around here.
Yeah, listen to him. I think I still
Let's see. Oh, this one. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. Game changers. They had some great rings before, but those black ones are so freaking sweet.
Yeah, they really do look good. And the gold that pops off of them looks really nice. Yeah, it's really cool. Appreciate it, Hollywood.
You're welcome. If Kyle would ever send me his address, I might send him his care package. Might not be the same one that you got, but you know, I may or may not looked in a mail catalog or whatever for Kyle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, looking out for my boo.
XO, Kyle, XO.
Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in tonight, listening, following us. Let everybody know this is kind of what we're thinking about for this year safety rankings. Next week, we're going to do the edge. Tune in next Friday unless something goes crazy, but tune in next Friday night and we'll see you there. Oh,
Other button.
do I have to hit it twice?
Well, hitting it once didn't work.
Well, that's twice.
Still didn't work. Try
Oh.
15.
Look at that.